Simone Harper sat in the gray office chair, staring at the document in her hands. The paper felt thin between her fingers, almost delicate, but the words printed on it were heavy enough to crush her world. Divorce decree. Final. Dated 6 months ago. Her signature sat at the bottom of the page, bold and clear, except for one problem. She had never signed it. Mrs. Harper, are you all right? The insurance agent's voice seemed to come from somewhere far away, even though the woman sat right across the desk. Simone blinked, trying to focus. This can't be right. I never signed this. The agent shifted in her seat, uncomfortable. According to our records, your divorce was finalized on March 15th. I'm sorry, but we can't add your ex-husband to your health insurance policy. You're listed as a single woman in our system. But I'm not divorced. Simone heard her own voice crack. I'm married. I've been married for 7 years. The agent pulled up something on her computer screen, then turned the monitors so Simone could see. There it was again. The same decree filed with the county clerk's office. Legal and binding. Simone stood up, her legs shaking. There has been a mistake. A huge mistake. She left the insurance office in a daze, walking to her car in the parking lot without really seeing where she was going. The September sun beat down on her, but she felt cold all over. Her hands trembled as she pulled out her phone and dialed Derek's number. It rang 4 times before going to voicemail. Hey, this is Derek Harper. Leave a message and I'll get back to you. Derek, call me. Right now. It's important. She ended the call and sat in her car, staring at the phone. An hour passed. No call back. Simone drove to the county courthouse, still wearing her blue scrubs from her morning shift at Memorial Hospital. The clerk at the records desk looked bored until Simone explained what she needed. I need to see my divorce records. Harper. Derek and Simone Harper. The clerk typed into her computer, then nodded. Let me print that for you. Minutes later, Simone held the full file in her hands. Pages and pages of legal documents. Petition for divorce, filed by Derek Harper. Grounds, irreconcilable differences. Asset division. And there, on multiple pages, was her signature. But she had never seen these papers before in her life. Her throat felt tight. She walked outside and called Brenda, her best friend since college. Simone? What's wrong? You sound terrible. Can you meet me? No. I need you. Brenda Thompson was a lawyer, sharp and practical. When Simone showed her the documents an hour later at a coffee shop, Brenda's face went from concern to furious. This is fraud, Brenda said, her voice low and controlled. This is forgery. Simone, someone forged your signature on legal documents. Derek. Simone said his name like it tasted bad in her mouth. It had to be Derek. We need to report this immediately. This is a crime. Simone shook her head, trying to think clearly. Wait. Just wait. Let me figure this out first. Why would he do this? Why would he divorce me in secret? Only one reason makes sense, Brenda said, tapping the papers. He wanted out of the marriage but didn't want you to know. Which means there's something he's hiding. That night, Derek came home late. He walked into their small house on Maple Street like nothing was wrong, loosening his tie and dropping his briefcase by the door. Hey babe, sorry I'm late. Had showings all day. He kissed her cheek automatically, a habit more than affection. Simone watched him, really looked at him for what felt like the first time in months. Derek was handsome in a conventional way, tall, fit, always dressed well. His real estate career had taken off in the past 2 years, and he spent more time away from home than with her. How was work? She asked, keeping her voice normal. Exhausting. I'm beat. He headed for the bedroom. I'm going to shower and crash. Simone waited until she heard the water running. Then she did something she had never done before. She picked up his phone from the kitchen counter. It was locked, but she knew his passcode. His mother's birthday. She typed it in and the screen opened. Her hands shook as she scrolled through his messages. The first few were normal. Clients. His brother. His boss. Then she saw a name that made her stomach drop. Tara with a heart emoji next to it. She opened the message thread. Miss you already? The most recent text read, sent just an hour ago. Can't wait for this weekend. Just us, the beach house, no interruptions. Simone scrolled up, her heart pounding so hard she could hear it in her ears. Message after message. Photos. Videos. Evidence of a whole other life Derek had been living. A life with a woman named Tara Bennett. The bathroom door opened. Simone quickly locked the phone and put it back where she'd found it. Derek walked out in his pajamas, his hair still damp. You okay? You look pale. Just tired, Simone managed to say. Long shift today. He nodded, barely listening, and climbed into bed. Within minutes he was asleep. Simone lay awake next to him, staring at the ceiling. Her mind raced, putting pieces together. The secret divorce. The affair. The way he'd been distant for months. The unexplained absences. The business trips that seemed to multiply. Everything made sense now in the worst possible way. She thought about their wedding day 7 years ago. She'd worn a simple white dress, and they'd gotten married at the courthouse with just a few friends present. Derek had promised to love her forever. He'd held her hands and looked into her eyes and made vows. All lies. Simone slipped out of bed quietly and went to the spare bedroom they used as an office. She turned on the computer and started searching. First, she looked up Tara Bennett on social media. The woman's face filled the screen. Pretty, younger than Simone, with long straight hair and perfect makeup in every photo. Her profile said she was a social media influencer with 50,000 followers. Pictures of fancy restaurants, designer clothes, expensive trips. And there, scattered among the carefully curated posts, were glimpses of a man's hand, a man's shoulder, always just out of frame. Simone's hands clenched into fists. She dug deeper, searching public records, cross-referencing information. An address popped up. An apartment in the upscale Harbor District, 30 minutes away. The lease was in Derek's name. Co-signed by Tara Bennett. He had a whole apartment with this woman. While Simone worked 12-hour shifts at the hospital, saving lives and coming home exhausted, Derek had been building a completely separate life. By the time the sun started to rise, Simone had filled a notebook with information. Bank accounts she didn't know existed. Credit cards with charges to jewelry stores, high-end boutiques, romantic restaurants. Trips to Miami, Las Vegas, Cancun. All while he told her he was at real estate conferences. The betrayal cut deep, but underneath the pain, something else was growing. Anger. Cold, clear anger. Derek had stolen her signature. He'd divorced her without her knowledge or consent. He'd taken marital assets and used them to fund his affair. He'd looked her in the eye every day and lied. When Derek woke up that morning, Simone was already dressed in her green scrubs, ready for her shift. Morning, he mumbled, still half asleep. Morning, she replied, her voice steady. I'm heading to work. Okay. I've got that conference this weekend, remember? Leaving Thursday, back Monday. Right. The conference. Simone picked up her bag. Have a good day. She walked out of the house, got in her car, and sat there for a moment. Her phone buzzed. A text from Brenda. Did you talk to him? Not yet, Simone typed back. But I'm going to handle this. I just need time to think. She drove to the hospital, parked in her usual spot, and walked through the automatic doors. The familiar smell of antiseptic and the sound of beeping monitors greeted her. This was her world. Real. Honest. She helped people here. She saved lives. Derek had thrown away their marriage like it meant nothing. He'd forged legal documents and stolen from her. He'd made her believe in something that didn't exist. But Simone was not going to fall apart. She was not going to beg or cry or fall to pieces. She was going to be smart, patient, strategic. And Derek Harper was going to regret every single lie he'd ever told her. Simone spent the next 3 days in a strange state of heightened awareness. Everything felt different now that she knew the truth. The way Derek touched her shoulder as he passed by felt like a violation. The sound of his voice on the phone, telling her he loved her before hanging up, made her stomach turn. But she kept her face neutral, her responses normal. She played the role of the unsuspecting wife perfectly. On Tuesday evening, after Derek left for what he called a property showing, Simone called Brenda. I need your help. Professional help. They met at Brenda's law office, a modest space in a downtown building. Brenda had changed out of her red blazer into comfortable clothes, but her expression was all business. Tell me everything, Brenda said, pulling out a legal pad. Simone laid it all out. The forged divorce. The affair with Tara. The secret apartment. The financial records she'd found. Everything she'd discovered in 3 days of careful investigating. Brenda listened, taking notes, her jaw getting tighter with each new detail. This is worse than I thought, Brenda said when Simone finished. He didn't just have an affair. He committed multiple felonies. Forgery, fraud, identity theft. And if he used any of your joint assets for this other relationship, that's theft too. What do I do? Simone asked. How do I handle this? Brenda tapped her pen against the pad. First, we need to secure your assets. Do you have any accounts in just your name? My checking account from before we got married. I still use it for my paychecks. Good. Don't touch any joint accounts yet. We don't want to tip him off. Second, we need to gather more evidence. Everything you can find. Bank statements, credit card bills, photos, texts, emails. Everything. I can't just break into his phone whenever I want, Simone said. He'll notice. Then we need to be smarter. Does he have a laptop? A tablet? Cloud storage? Simone nodded slowly. He has a laptop he uses for work. He leaves it in the office at home. Can you access it? I know his passwords. He uses the same one for everything. Brenda smiled grimly. Then we have our evidence. But Simone, you need to be careful. Don't let on that you know anything. Not yet. We need to have all our pieces in place first. Over the next week, Simone became an expert at deception. When Derek was home, she smiled and made dinner and asked about his day. When he was gone, she methodically went through every file on his laptop, every email, every document. She uploaded everything to a secure cloud storage account Brenda had set up for her. Bank statements showing transfers to accounts Simone had never heard of. Emails between Derek and Tara planning trips and discussing their future together. Photos from vacations Simone had thought were business trips. The worst were the text messages. Simone found them all backed up in his cloud account. Hundreds of messages going back 2 years. Messages where Derek complained about Simone, called her boring, said he couldn't wait to be free of her. Messages where Tara called Simone pathetic and stupid for not noticing what was happening. Simone read them all, sitting alone in the office late at night, tears streaming down her face. But she saved every single one. On Thursday, Derek packed his bag for his conference. I'll miss you, he said, kissing her goodbye. The lie came so easily to him. Miss you too, Simone replied, the words tasting like ash in her mouth. Have a safe trip. She watched him drive away, then immediately called Brenda. He's gone. I have 4 days. Perfect. Meet me in an hour. We have work to do. They spent Thursday evening at Brenda's office, organizing all the evidence Simone had gathered. Brenda had brought in a private investigator she trusted, a woman named Rita Cruz who specialized in marital cases. Rita was in her 50s, with sharp eyes and a no-nonsense attitude. She looked at the evidence Simone had collected and nodded approvingly. You did good work here, Rita said. Most people miss half of this stuff. You've got him dead to rights. What happens now? Simone asked. Now I do my job, Rita said. I'm going to follow him this weekend. Get photos. Video if possible. Document everywhere he goes, everyone he sees. By the time I'm done, we'll have enough evidence to bury him in court. There's something else, Brenda said, looking at Simone seriously. We need to talk about the forgery. That's criminal, not just civil. We can report this to the police and the district attorney's office. Derek could face serious charges. Simone sat back in her chair thinking. Part of her wanted Derek to suffer, to face consequences for what he'd done. But another part just wanted to be free of him, to move on with her life. Let's focus on getting the divorce invalidated first, she said finally. And making sure I'm protected financially. We can decide about criminal charges later. Brenda nodded. Fair enough. I'll file a motion to invalidate the divorce decree based on fraud. That will stop the clock on everything. Then we'll file for a real divorce on your terms. That weekend was the longest of Simone's life. She worked her shifts at the hospital, went through the motions of her normal routine, but her mind was always elsewhere. Wondering where Derek was, what he was doing, whether Rita was getting good evidence. On Sunday evening, Rita called. I've got everything we need. You should come see this. At Brenda's office, Rita pulled up photos on her laptop. Derek and Tara at a beachfront restaurant, holding hands across the table. Walking on the beach together. Kissing on the balcony of a hotel room. Checking into the hotel together, Derek signing the register while Tara stood beside him with her hand on his back. They stayed at the coastal resort in Malibu, Rita said. I've got credit card receipts showing Derek paid for everything. Dinner for 2 at a 5-star restaurant, $400. Champagne in the room, $300. Spa treatments, $600. He dropped about $3,000 this weekend. Simone looked at the numbers. $3,000 while she'd been at home, picking up extra shifts to help pay their mortgage. Money that should have been going to their joint expenses, their joint future. There's more, Rita said. She pulled up another set of photos. I followed them to a jewelry store on Saturday afternoon. They were looking at rings. The photos showed Derek and Tara standing at a counter, examining a tray of engagement rings. Tara was pointing at one, smiling up at Derek. He had his arm around her waist. Simone felt something break inside her. Not her heart. that had already broken. This was different. This was the final severing of any lingering hope that maybe, somehow, this was all a misunderstanding. That maybe Derek still cared about her, even a little. He didn't. He had moved on completely. He was planning a future with someone else while still living in Simone's house, sleeping in her bed, pretending everything was normal. "I want him out," Simone said, her voice cold and clear. "I want him out of my life completely." "We'll make it happen," Brenda promised. "But we need to time this right. Let's get all our legal documents in order first. Then we confront him with everything at once. No warning. No chance to spin a story or hide assets." Simone nodded. "How long?" "Give me 2 weeks. I'll have everything ready." Those 2 weeks were torture. Derek came back from his conference full of stories about real estate seminars and networking events. He showed Simone brochures and business cards, evidence of a trip that never happened. The lies flowed so smoothly that Simone almost admired his skill at deception. Almost. She went to work, came home, made dinner, watched television with Derek on the couch. All the while she was counting down the days. 14. 13. 12. On day 10 something unexpected happened. Simone stopped at a gas station on her way home from work. She just finished a particularly hard shift. They'd lost a patient, a young mother with 3 kids. It had shaken Simone badly, reminded her how fragile life was, how quickly everything could change. She paid for her gas and, on impulse, bought a lottery ticket. Powerball. The jackpot was up to $47 million. "Feeling lucky?" the clerk asked with a grin. "Not particularly," Simone said honestly. "But you never know." She tucked the ticket into her wallet and forgot about it. 3 days later, on a Saturday morning, Simone was cleaning the kitchen when she remembered the ticket. Derek had left early for another showing. The house was quiet. She pulled the ticket out of her wallet and checked the numbers on her phone. Her hands started shaking. She checked again. And again. All 6 numbers matched. Every single one. Simone sat down hard on the kitchen floor, staring at the ticket in her hands. $47 million. The annuity option would pay out about $2 million a year for 26 years. The lump sum after taxes would be about $28 million. Life-changing money. Future-securing money. Never have to worry again money. She called Brenda, her voice barely above a whisper. "I need you to come over. Right now. And don't tell anyone." When Brenda arrived 20 minutes later, Simone showed her the ticket. Brenda's eyes went wide. "Holy, Simone. Do you know what this means?" "It means everything just changed," Simone said. "Derek can never know about this. Ever." "Agreed," Brenda said immediately. "The divorce isn't final." "Well, the fake one is, but legally you're still married until we get this sorted out. If Derek finds out about this money, he'll try to claim half of it. Or more." "What do I do?" Simone asked. "How do I claim this without him finding out?" Brenda thought for a moment, then pulled out her phone. "I know someone. A financial advisor who specializes in lottery winners. She's discreet, trustworthy. Let me call her." By the end of the day, Simone had a plan. She would claim the lottery winnings, but the money would go into a trust controlled by Brenda and the financial advisor. Derek's name would be nowhere near it. And they would keep the news quiet for as long as possible. "We need to speed up the timeline," Brenda said. "Once you claim this, word will get out eventually. We need Derek out of your life before that happens." "How fast can we move?" Simone asked. "Give me 1 week," Brenda said. "I'll have everything ready. Next Saturday we confront him with everything. The forgery, the affair, all of it. And we get him out of your house and out of your life." Simone looked at the lottery ticket in her hands, then at her friend's determined face. 1 week, she agreed. And then this nightmare ends. Monday morning, Simone drove to the state lottery office with Brenda by her side. The building was plain and administrative, nothing like the glamorous setting she'd imagined. They were ushered into a private room where a pleasant woman named Miss Patterson verified the ticket. "Congratulations, Miss Harper," Miss Patterson said with a professional smile. "You've won the Powerball jackpot of $47 million. Now, we have some important decisions to discuss." The next 2 hours were a blur of paperwork, decisions, and legal language. Simone chose the lump sum payout. After federal and state taxes, she would receive approximately $28 million. The money would be transferred to the trust Brenda had set up within 2 weeks. "Now about publicity," Miss Patterson said. "In this state, lottery winners are public record. We'll need to do a press conference and official photos. However, we can delay the announcement for up to 30 days if you need time to get your affairs in order." 30 days, Simone said immediately. Please. Miss Patterson nodded. Very common request. We'll schedule the press conference for 4 weeks from today. That gives you time to prepare, talk to financial advisors, maybe even take a vacation before things get crazy. When they left the lottery office, Simone felt like she was floating. $28 million. The number was so large it didn't feel real. This stays between us, Brenda reminded her as they sat in the car. Don't tell anyone. Not your coworkers, not your family. No one until Derek is completely out of your life. I won't, Simone promised. But Brenda, this money, what am I going to do with it? Brenda smiled. First, you're going to finish dealing with Derek. Then you're going to build the life you deserve. But one step at a time. That week, Simone moved through her regular life like an actress playing a role. She went to work, she came home, she made dinner for Derek when he was around. But inside, she felt like a completely different person. She had a secret that changed everything. Power she'd never had before. Options she'd never dreamed of. On Tuesday evening, Derek mentioned he had another business trip coming up. Just a long weekend, he said. Thursday through Monday. Big potential client in Santa Barbara. Santa Barbara? Simone repeated, keeping her voice light and interested. That sounds nice. Yeah, should be good. Wish it was more vacation and less work, you know? He smiled at her, that easy charming smile that had attracted her 7 years ago. Now it just looked fake. Maybe we can take a real vacation soon, Simone suggested, testing him. Together. It's been a while. Derek's smile flickered for just a second. Yeah, sure. We should do that. Once this busy season calms down. The busy season that had been going on for 2 years. The busy season that was really just time spent with Tara. After Derek went to bed, Simone sat in the living room with her laptop, researching what she wanted to do with her new future. She looked at houses, apartments, new cars. She researched foundations and charities. She made lists of people she wanted to help, causes she wanted to support. The hospital where she worked needed new equipment. Her church needed roof repairs. The women's shelter where she volunteered needed funding. Her mother's house needed renovations. Her younger brother was drowning in student loans. For the first time in years, Simone felt hope. Real, concrete hope for a better future. On Wednesday, Simone met with the financial advisor Brenda had recommended. Nancy Foster was a woman in her early 60s with kind eyes and a sharp mind. They met at Nancy's office, a comfortable space with plants and family photos. $28 million is significant wealth, Nancy explained, pulling up spreadsheets on her computer. Properly invested, this money could provide you with a comfortable income for the rest of your life, with plenty left over for your children and grandchildren. I don't have children, Simone said quietly. Nancy nodded. Well, there's time for that if you want it. Or you could use this money in other ways. Charity, helping family, starting a business. Whatever aligns with your values and goals. They spent 3 hours discussing options. Conservative investments. Moderate risk portfolios. How much Simone could safely spend per year. The tax implications of large purchases. Estate planning. By the end of the meeting, Simone had a clear picture of her financial future. If she was smart and careful, she would never have to worry about money again. She could work at the hospital because she wanted to, not because she had to. She could help people. She could build something meaningful. One more thing, Nancy said as Simone was preparing to leave. I've worked with several lottery winners over the years. The ones who do best are the ones who don't let the money change who they are fundamentally. Stay grounded. Stay connected to your real values. And be very, very careful about who you trust. I will, Simone promised. That evening, Simone drove past the apartment in the Harbor District where Derek and Tara lived. It was a modern building with a doorman and expensive cars in the parking garage. She didn't stop, just drove slowly past, observing. This was the life Derek had chosen over their marriage. This was what he'd wanted. She felt a strange sense of detachment. A few weeks ago, this discovery would have destroyed her. Now, with her new reality, it just felt pathetic. Derek had thrown away their marriage for this. For an affair with a social media influencer who was probably with him for his money. Money he'd stolen from their joint accounts to impress her. The irony was sharp. Derek had betrayed Simone for financial reasons, among others. And now she had more money than he could dream of, and he would never see a penny of it. On Thursday morning, Derek packed his bag for his business trip to Santa Barbara. Simone made him breakfast, scrambled eggs and toast, and watched him eat. You've been different lately, Derek commented. Happier maybe. Did something good happen? Simone smiled. Just been doing some thinking. About the future. About what I want from life. Yeah. Derek seemed only mildly interested. What do you want? Honesty, Simone said, looking directly at him. Respect. A real partnership. Derek nodded absently. That's good, babe. Everyone deserves that. He checked his watch. I need to get going. Traffic's going to be bad. He kissed her cheek, grabbed his bag and headed for the door. Simone watched him leave, watched his car pull out of the driveway. She waited until he was completely out of sight. Then she called Brenda. He's gone. It's time. Within an hour, Brenda arrived with a locksmith. They changed every lock on the house. Front door, back door, garage. New deadbolts, new keys. Derek's key would no longer work. Next came the security cameras. Brenda had arranged for a professional installation. Cameras went up at the front door, back door, and garage. Everything would be recorded now. Any attempt Derek made to enter the property would be documented. This feels so final, Simone said, watching the locksmith work on the front door. It is final, Brenda replied. You're taking back control of your life. This is your house, paid for with your income from before the marriage. He has no legal right to be here. Rita, the private investigator, arrived next. She had more photos from following Derek and Tara. This time, they showed the couple at a luxury hotel in Santa Barbara, checking in together. Derek had his arm around Tara's waist. They looked happy, carefree, like people on a romantic vacation. I've also got something else, Rita said. She pulled out a folder. Bank records. Derek has been systematically transferring money from your joint accounts to his personal account for the past 18 months. Small amounts each time, nothing that would trigger alarms, but it adds up. He's taken about $45,000 total. Simone felt her jaw tighten. $45,000. Money she'd earned, money she'd saved, stolen bit by bit while Derek pretended everything was fine. That's theft, Brenda said flatly. We can add it to the list of charges. They spent the rest of Thursday organizing everything. Brenda drafted legal documents. Rita compiled evidence. Simone packed up Derek's personal belongings and put them in boxes in the garage. By Friday evening, everything was ready. The locks were changed. The cameras were installed. The evidence was compiled. The legal papers were prepared. All they needed now was for Derek to come home. On Friday night, Simone barely slept. She kept thinking about the confrontation to come, playing out different scenarios in her mind. How Derek would react. What he would say. Whether he would try to lie his way out of it or finally admit the truth. Saturday morning arrived clear and bright. Simone got up early, showered, and dressed carefully. She chose a red blouse and black pants, professional and put together. She wanted to feel strong for what was coming. Brenda arrived at noon. They sat in the living room waiting. According to his text messages, Derek would be home around 2 o'clock. How are you feeling? Brenda asked. Nervous, Simone admitted. But ready. I'm so ready for this to be over. It will be soon, Brenda assured her. And then you can start your new life. At 1:45, Simone's phone buzzed. A text from Derek, almost home. Need anything? She didn't respond. Let him wonder. At 2:10, a car pulled into the driveway. The security camera showed Derek getting out, pulling his bag from the trunk. He walked to the front door, confident and relaxed. He tried his key. It didn't work. Through the camera feed on Brenda's tablet, they watched Derek try the key again. He looked confused, checking to make sure he had the right key. He tried a third time, then pulled out his phone. Simone's phone rang. Derek's name on the screen. She looked at Brenda, who nodded. Answer it. Tell him to come to the back door. Simone answered. Hello? Simone? My key isn't working. Did you change the locks or something? Come to the back door, Simone said, keeping her voice steady. We need to talk. She hung up before he could respond. They heard his footsteps coming around the side of the house. The back door was unlocked. Derek opened it and stepped into the kitchen, still looking confused. Then he saw Brenda sitting at the kitchen table, legal documents spread out in front of her. His expression changed from confusion to worry. What's going on? He asked, looking between Simone and Brenda. Why is your lawyer here? Sit down, Derek, Simone said. Her voice didn't shake. Her hands didn't tremble. She felt cold and clear and strong. We have a lot to discuss. Derek stood in the doorway, his overnight bag still hanging from his shoulder. His eyes moved from Simone to Brenda and back again, calculating. What's this about? Why did you change the locks? I said sit down, Simone repeated. She gestured to the chair across from Brenda. Derek set his bag down slowly but didn't sit. Look, if this is about me being gone so much lately, I know we need to spend more time together. Work has just been crazy. Stop lying, Simone said. The words came out harder than she intended. Just stop. Derek's face shifted, confusion morphing into defensive concern. Lying? What are you talking about? Brenda slid a folder across the table. Mr. Harper, please sit down. This will go easier if you cooperate. Derek finally sat, his body language tight and wary. He didn't open the folder. Let me start with the basics, Brenda said, her lawyer voice crisp and professional. 6 months ago, you filed for divorce from Simone without her knowledge. You forged her signature on multiple legal documents and bribed a court clerk to process the papers. That's fraud, forgery, and conspiracy. All felonies. The color drained from Derek's face. I don't know what you're talking about. Open the folder, Simone said. Derek's hands shook slightly as he opened it. Inside were copies of the divorce decree, the forged signatures, bank records showing a payment to the court clerk, and a sworn statement from the clerk himself, who had agreed to cooperate with authorities in exchange for a reduced sentence. This is... Derek started, then stopped. His jaw worked, but no more words came out. This is evidence of crimes you committed, Brenda finished for him. We have documented proof of everything. The forgery, the bribery, the systematic theft of marital assets, the affair you've been having with Tara Bennett for the past 2 years. At Tara's name, Derek's head snapped up. His eyes met Simone's, and she saw the exact moment he realized how much she knew. Simone, let me explain, he started. No, Simone cut him off. I don't want to hear your explanations or your excuses. I know everything, Derek. I know about the apartment in Harbor District. I know about the vacations you've taken together while telling me you were at conferences. I know about the $45,000 you stole from our joint accounts. I know you went to look at engagement rings with her last weekend. Derek's face went from pale to red. You've been following me? I've been documenting your crimes, Brenda corrected. And yes, we have photographic evidence of everything. Your entire relationship with Ms. Bennett is well documented. Derek slumped in his chair, all the fight seeming to drain out of him. How long have you known? Long enough, Simone said. Long enough to protect myself. Long enough to make sure you can't hurt me anymore. I never wanted to hurt you, Derek said quietly. Things just happened. Tara and we fell in love. I didn't plan it. Simone felt anger surge through her. You fell in love. So you forged my signature and divorced me in secret? You stole our money and used it to take her on vacations? That's not love, Derek. That's selfishness and cruelty. I was going to tell you, Derek said, but his voice lacked conviction. I just didn't know how. You weren't going to tell me anything, Simone said. You were going to keep living this double life for as long as you could get away with it. Using me for stability while having your fun with Tara. Derek put his head in his hands. What do you want? What happens now? Now you leave, Brenda said. Your belongings are packed in the garage. You're going to take them and go. This house belongs to Simone. She purchased it before your marriage with her own money. You have no legal claim to it. And if I refuse? Derek asked, but there was no real challenge in his voice. Then we call the police and have you arrested for trespassing, Brenda said calmly. And we immediately file criminal charges for forgery, fraud, and theft. Your choice. Derek looked at Simone, something like desperation in his eyes. Simone, please. We can work this out. We can go to counseling, fix things. There's nothing to fix, Simone said. You destroyed our marriage. You divorced me without my consent. It's over, Derek. It was over the moment you forged my signature. But we can still... Get out, Simone said. Take your things and leave. Derek stood up slowly. He looked like he wanted to say more, but Brenda was already standing too, her hand near her phone, ready to call the police if needed. I'll need to come back for more of my stuff, Derek said. Everything you own is in the garage, Simone replied. If you think we missed something, make a list and we'll ship it to you. Derek walked to the garage, moving like a man in a daze. Simone and Brenda followed, making sure he didn't try to take anything that wasn't his. The boxes were stacked neatly: clothes, personal items, his collection of golf clubs, his framed real estate awards. Derek loaded boxes into his car, making multiple trips. The whole process took about 30 minutes. Neither Simone nor Brenda helped. They just watched. When the last box was loaded, Derek turned back to Simone. I'm sorry, he said. I really am. I never meant for things to happen this way. Simone didn't respond. There was nothing left to say. Derek got in his car and drove away. Simone watched his taillights disappear down the street, then walked back into her house. Her house. Not their house anymore. Hers. How do you feel? Brenda asked. Empty, Simone admitted. But also, relieved. Like I can finally breathe. That's normal, Brenda said. You've been carrying this weight for weeks. Now it's done. Not quite done, Simone reminded her. We still have to deal with the legal mess. We will. I'm filing the motion to invalidate the divorce on Monday. We'll also file a real divorce petition with you as the plaintiff. And we'll document all the theft and fraud for potential criminal charges. Do we have to press criminal charges? Simone asked. I just want to move on. That's your decision, Brenda said. But think about it. Derek committed serious crimes. He should face consequences. Simone nodded slowly. Let me think about it. Right now, I just want him out of my life. After Brenda left, Simone walked through the house alone. It felt different already. Lighter. She went to the bedroom and started removing all traces of Derek. His cologne from the dresser. The photo of their wedding from the nightstand. His extra shoes from the closet. She carried everything to the garage and dumped it in a box. Tomorrow she would drop it off at the apartment Derek shared with Tara. Let them deal with it. That night, Simone slept better than she had in weeks. She spread out in the middle of the bed, not worrying about disturbing anyone. She set her alarm for whenever she wanted to wake up, not coordinating with Derek's schedule. The house was quiet and peaceful. The next morning, Sunday, Simone woke up early and went for a run. The autumn air was crisp and cool. She ran through her neighborhood, past the park where she used to walk with Derek, past the coffee shop where they'd had their first date. All these places that held memories, but the memories didn't hurt as much as she'd expected. They were just the past. She was moving toward a different future now. When she got home, she made herself a proper breakfast. Pancakes, eggs, fresh fruit. She ate slowly, enjoying the quiet morning. Her phone buzzed. A text from Derek. Can we talk? Please? Simone deleted it without responding. Another text. I know I messed up. Just give me a chance to explain. Delete. Simone, please. I love you. Delete. She blocked his number. Then she blocked him on social media. Every platform, every connection severed. The rest of Sunday, Simone focused on herself. She did laundry, cleaned the house, organized her closet. She found things that Derek had bought her over the years, gifts that now felt tainted. A necklace he'd given her for their anniversary. A designer purse from her birthday. She put them all in a box to donate. On Monday morning, Simone went to work as usual. Her coworkers noticed something different about her. You look good, her friend Jennifer said. Like really good. Did you do something different with your hair? Just feeling better, Simone said. Had a good weekend. She went through her shift with more energy than she'd had in months. Helping patients, assisting doctors, doing the work she loved. This was real. This mattered. Not the mess with Derek, but this. Making a difference in people's lives. During her lunch break, Brenda called. The motion to invalidate the divorce has been filed. The judge will review it this week. Given the evidence of forgery, I'm confident it will be approved. And then? Simone asked. Then we file the real divorce. It should be straightforward since Derek can't claim you abandoned the marriage or were at fault in any way. We have evidence that he was the one having the affair, stealing money, committing fraud. How long will it take? Simone asked. A few months probably. Maybe less if Derek doesn't contest it. He better not contest it, Simone said. Not after everything. If he's smart, he won't, Brenda agreed. Because the alternative is criminal prosecution. I'm guessing he'd rather have a quiet divorce than a trial. That evening, Simone's phone rang. A known number. She almost didn't answer, then decided to see who it was. Hello? Simone. A woman's voice, young and uncertain. This is Tara. Tara Bennett. Simone's hand tightened on the phone. How did you get this number? Derek gave it to me. Look, I know this is weird, but I think we need to talk. Woman to woman. We have nothing to talk about, Simone said. Please just listen. I didn't know he was still married when we started seeing each other. You told me you were divorced. I only found out the truth a few weeks ago. And you stayed with him anyway, Simone said flatly. It's complicated, Tara said. He said you two had grown apart, that the marriage was over and everything but paperwork. That's his version, Simone said. The truth is he forged my signature and divorced me without my knowledge while having an affair with you. But you're right, this conversation is pointless. Don't call me again. She hung up before Tara could respond, then blocked that number too. The audacity of these people. Derek cheating and lying, then asking for another chance. Tara calling to make excuses, trying to absolve herself of guilt. They deserved each other. Over the next week, Simone settled into her new normal. Work, home, taking care of herself. She started running every morning, getting stronger and healthier. She meal prepped healthy food. She read books she'd been meaning to read for years. She reconnected with friends she'd neglected while dealing with her failing marriage. Brenda called with updates. The judge had approved the motion to invalidate the fraudulent divorce. Derek's lawyer had reached out asking to negotiate a settlement. Derek was willing to sign whatever papers were needed for a quick divorce, as long as criminal charges weren't filed. "What do you think?" Brenda asked. "I think I want this over," Simone said. "What would a settlement look like?" "You keep the house, obviously, since it was yours before the marriage. We split the joint accounts, but Derek has to repay the $45,000 he stole. We waive spousal support both ways. Clean break. And no criminal charges?" Simone asked. "That's up to you. Personally, I think he deserves to be prosecuted. But I also understand wanting to move on." Simone thought about it for a long moment. "No criminal charges. But I want it in writing that if he ever contacts me again, harasses me, or causes any problems, the deal is off and we prosecute everything." "I can make that happen," Brenda said. "You're sure?" "I'm sure," Simone said. "I don't want revenge. I just want my life back." The divorce papers were drawn up and signed within 2 weeks. Derek signed everything his lawyer put in front of him, agreeing to all terms. He repaid the $45,000 he'd stolen. He gave up any claim to the house or Simone's assets. He signed a non-harassment agreement. It was done. Officially, finally done. Simone stood in Brenda's office, holding the final divorce decree. This one was real. This one she had actually signed. "How does it feel?" Brenda asked. "Like freedom," Simone said. "Like I can finally start over." "You can," Brenda agreed. "And you're about to have the resources to do it right." The lottery press conference was scheduled for the following week. 4 weeks had passed since Simone claimed her winnings. The 30-day waiting period was up. Soon the whole world would know she'd won $47 million. And Derek would find out what he'd lost. The lottery office held the press conference on a Thursday morning. Simone had dressed carefully for the occasion, choosing a bright blue dress that made her feel confident and professional. Nancy, her financial advisor, had coached her on what to say and how to handle questions. Brenda stood beside her for moral support. The room was full of reporters, cameras, and lottery officials. Ms. Patterson from the lottery office made the formal announcement, then invited Simone to come forward. "Ladies and gentlemen, please welcome Simone Harper, winner of the $47 million Powerball jackpot." Applause filled the room. Simone stepped up to the podium, holding the oversized check that was more for show than anything else. The real money was already safely in her trust account. Camera flashes went off. Reporters shouted questions. Simone smiled and waved, then stepped up to the microphone. "Thank you," she said, her voice steady. "I'm still in shock, honestly. I bought the ticket on impulse after a long day at work. I'm a nurse at Memorial Hospital, and we'd had a difficult case that day. I stopped for gas on the way home and just bought a ticket. Never expected this." "What are you going to do with the money?" a reporter called out. "I'm going to be smart about it," Simone said. "I have excellent financial advisors helping me invest wisely. But I also want to give back. The hospital where I work needs equipment. My church needs repairs. There are causes I care about that need support. I've been given an incredible gift and I want to use it to help others." More questions came rapid fire. Simone answered them calmly, confidently. She talked about staying at her job because she loved nursing. She talked about being careful with money, not making rash decisions. She deflected personal questions about her family and relationships with practiced grace. After 30 minutes, Miss Patterson wrapped up the conference. Simone posed for a few more photos, then escaped to a private room with Brenda and Nancy. "You did great," Brenda said. "Very poised. When will this hit the news?" Simone asked. "It's probably already online," Nancy said, checking her phone. "Yep. Multiple news sites have already posted stories. By tonight, it'll be everywhere." Simone felt her stomach tighten. "So Derek knows now." "Most likely," Brenda agreed. "Are you ready for that?" "As ready as I'll ever be," Simone said. She wasn't wrong to be concerned. By that evening, her phone was flooded with calls and texts. Old friends she hadn't spoken to in years. Distant relatives. Coworkers. Everyone wanted to congratulate her, but Simone could hear the underlying question in their voices. Can you help me? She ignored most of the calls, only answering the people she genuinely cared about. Her mother cried with joy. Her brother was thrilled. Jennifer from work screamed so loud that Simone had to hold the phone away from her ear. But the call she'd been dreading came at 8 o'clock that night. A known number. She almost didn't answer, but something made her pick up. Simone. Derek's voice, strained and urgent. I just saw the news. You won the lottery? $47 million? I did, Simone said calmly. Not that it's any of your business. Not my business? Simone, we were married when you bought that ticket. That makes it marital property. I'm entitled to half. Simone felt a cold satisfaction. This was exactly what she'd expected. Were we married, Derek? Are you sure about that? What do you mean? You divorced me 6 months ago. Remember? You forged my signature and ended our marriage. So when I bought that lottery ticket 3 weeks ago, I was a single woman. The money is mine. All mine. There was a long silence on the other end of the line. Simone could practically hear Derek's brain working, trying to find an angle. That divorce was fraudulent, Derek finally said. It was invalidated. Which means we were technically still married. Wrong, Simone said. The divorce was invalidated, yes. But then I filed for a real divorce which you signed 2 weeks ago. That divorce became final last Friday. The lottery ticket was purchased after the original fraudulent divorce but before the real divorce. However, given that you had fraudulently divorced me and moved out of our marital home, we were legally separated. The money is separate property. That's not how it works, Derek insisted, but his voice lacked confidence. Actually, it is, Simone said. I've had excellent legal advice. The money is protected. You have no claim to it. None. Simone, please. We can work something out. I made mistakes, I know that. But we were together for 7 years. That has to count for something. It did count for something, Simone said. Until you threw it all away. Goodbye, Derek. She hung up and immediately blocked his new number. 5 minutes later, her doorbell rang. Simone checked the security camera. Derek stood on her front porch, looking desperate. She didn't open the door. Instead, she used the intercom. Go away, Derek. Please just let me in. Let's talk about this like adults. We have nothing to talk about. You signed a divorce agreement. You gave up all claims to my assets. It's done. I didn't know about the lottery money when I signed that, Derek said. Not my problem, Simone replied. You signed a legal document. It's binding. Now leave before I call the police. Simone, I'm begging you. Just give me a chance to explain. You had 7 years to explain things to me, Simone said. You chose to lie instead. Now leave. Derek stood there for another minute, staring at the camera. Then he walked back to his car and drove away. Simone watched him go, feeling nothing but relief. This was what she'd been afraid of, but it turned out to be easy. Derek had no power over her anymore. No claim, no leverage, nothing. The next morning, Friday, Simone went to work as usual. The hospital was buzzing with the news. Everyone wanted to talk about the lottery win, to congratulate her, to ask questions. Are you going to keep working? Her supervisor asked. For now, yes, Simone said. I love nursing. The money doesn't change that. But even as she said it, Simone was thinking about the future. She didn't have to work 12-hour shifts anymore if she didn't want to. She could cut back to part-time. She could volunteer more. She could travel. The possibilities were endless. During her lunch break, Brenda called. We have a problem. What kind of problem? Simone asked. Derek hired a new lawyer. An aggressive one. They're threatening to sue, claiming Derek has a right to part of the lottery winnings. Simone felt anger rise in her chest. On what grounds? They're claiming that the date of separation isn't clear, that you were still living as a married couple when you bought the ticket, and that Derek didn't understand what he was signing when he agreed to the divorce terms. That's garbage, Simone said. He knew exactly what he was signing. I know, and we can prove it. But it means we're going to have to go to court. This could get messy. Let it get messy, Simone said. I'm not giving him anything. Not one penny. That's what I wanted to hear, Brenda said. I'll start preparing our defense. And Simone? We're going to win this. Derek doesn't have a legal leg to stand on. That weekend, Simone tried to relax and enjoy her new reality, but it was hard with Derek's lawsuit looming. She knew Brenda was right that they would win. But the idea of having to face Derek in court, to drag this whole mess out even longer, was exhausting. On Saturday afternoon, her doorbell rang again. This time it was Tara standing on the porch in designer jeans and a white blouse. Simone opened the door but didn't invite her in. "What do you want?" "I need to talk to you," Tara said. She looked stressed, her perfect makeup not quite hiding the dark circles under her eyes. "It's about Derek." "I have nothing to say about Derek," Simone replied. "He's obsessed with your lottery money," Tara said. "It's all he talks about. How you owe him, how he's going to get his share. He's driving me crazy." "Again, not my problem," Simone said. "Look, I know I'm not your favorite person," Tara continued. "I know what Derek and I did was wrong. But I'm trying to be honest with you now. Derek is planning something. He's talking to lawyers, trying to find any way to get money from you. And if that doesn't work..." She trailed off, looking uncomfortable. "If that doesn't work, what?" Simone asked. "He's talking about going to the media, telling his side of the story, making you look bad so you'll pay him to go away." Simone felt her jaw tighten. "Let him try. I have nothing to hide. Every single thing that happened between us is documented. If Derek wants to air our dirty laundry in public, he's only going to make himself look worse." "I'm just trying to help," Tara said. "No, you're trying to save yourself," Simone corrected. "You're realizing that Derek is a user and a liar, and now that he's not getting money from me, he's probably turning his attention to you." "What happened, Tara? Did you think you were getting a rich real estate agent, only to find out he's broke?" Tara's face flushed red. "That's not fair." "Fair? You want to talk about fair? You helped Derek cheat on me for 2 years. You knew he was married no matter what lies he told you. You were looking at engagement rings while he was still living in my house. Don't come to me now looking for sympathy." "I made mistakes," Tara said quietly. "I know that. But I'm trying to do the right thing now." "The right thing would be to leave me alone," Simone said. "Both of you. I don't want Derek's attention and I don't want yours. Stay out of my life." She closed the door before Tara could respond. Simone walked back to her living room and sat down, taking deep breaths. This was harder than she'd expected. She'd thought that once Derek was gone, once the divorce was final, everything would be over. But here he was, still trying to insert himself into her life, still trying to take from her. Her phone buzzed. A text from an unknown number. "You can't ignore this forever. We need to talk about a fair settlement. Half of 47 million is more than enough for both of us to be happy." Derek using a new number. Simone blocked it immediately and sent a screenshot to Brenda. Brenda called within minutes. "This is harassment. We can add it to our case against him." "I just want it to stop," Simone said. "When will he give up?" "When he realizes he's not going to win," Brenda said. "And that's going to happen soon. Trust me." That night, Simone couldn't sleep. She lay in bed, staring at the ceiling, thinking about everything that had happened. 6 months ago, she'd been living a normal life. Working at the hospital, coming home to Derek, thinking everything was fine. She'd had no idea about the affair, the secret divorce, any of it. Now her whole life had changed. She was a millionaire. She was divorced. She had people coming out of the woodwork wanting money, attention, a piece of her newfound wealth. But she was also free. Free from Derek's lies. Free from a marriage that had been built on deception. Free to build whatever life she wanted. Simone got out of bed and walked to her home office. She opened her laptop and started making plans. Real, concrete plans for her future. First, she would win this court battle with Derek. There was no question about that. Then she would start her foundation. A charity to help single mothers, women who had been abandoned or betrayed, women who needed support to rebuild their lives. She would call it the New Beginnings Foundation. She would also help her family. Her mother's house needed work. Her brother needed help with his student loans. She would take care of them properly and responsibly. And then she would figure out what she wanted for herself. Maybe travel. Maybe go back to school for an advanced degree. Maybe just take time to heal and grow. The future was wide open. And for the first time in years, Simone felt excited about it. The court date was set for 3 weeks out. In the meantime, Derek's harassment continued. He called from different numbers, sent emails, even tried to contact Simone through mutual acquaintances. Each attempt was documented and added to the evidence file. On Monday morning, Simone arrived at work to find Derek waiting in the hospital parking lot. He stood by her car looking disheveled. His expensive suit was wrinkled, his hair uncombed. He'd clearly been up all night. "Simone, please," he said as she approached. "Just talk to me for 5 minutes." "I have a restraining order application being filed today," Simone said calmly. "If you continue to contact me, you'll be arrested." "Is that what you want?" "I want what's fair," Derek said. That money should be split between us. You divorced me, Simone reminded him. You forged my signature and ended our marriage. You don't get to come back now because you found out I have money. I made a mistake, Derek said. People make mistakes, Simone. Don't you believe in forgiveness? Forgiveness and giving you millions of dollars are two different things, Simone replied. And honestly, Derek, I don't forgive you. You lied to me every single day for 2 years. You stole from me. You destroyed our marriage. Why would I forgive that? Because we loved each other once, Derek said desperately. That has to mean something. It meant something, Simone agreed. Past tense. It's over now. Move on, Derek. Find a way to be happy with the choices you made. She walked past him into the hospital, not looking back. Security had been notified about Derek's harassment, and 2 guards escorted him off the property. At lunchtime, Simone met with Brenda and a new addition to their team, a media consultant named Patricia Lee. Patricia was in her 40s, sharp and professional in a maroon blazer. Derek is going to go public, Patricia said, pulling up her tablet. My sources tell me he's arranged an interview with a local news station. He's going to paint himself as the victim, claim you're being vindictive, say he deserves part of the lottery money. Let him, Simone said. We have the truth on our side. The truth doesn't always matter in the court of public opinion, Patricia warned. But we can control the narrative. I suggest we arrange an interview for you as well. Tell your side of the story. Show the evidence of his fraud and theft. I don't want to air my personal life on television, Simone said. I understand, Patricia said. But if you stay silent, Derek's version becomes the only version people hear. You don't have to go into detail. Just state the facts. He secretly divorced you, committed fraud, had an affair. The lottery ticket was purchased when you were legally separated. That's all you need to say. Simone looked at Brenda, who nodded. Patricia's right. We need to get ahead of this. Okay, Simone agreed reluctantly. Set up the interview. Derek's interview aired on Wednesday evening. Simone watched it at home with Brenda, both of them taking notes. Derek sat across from a sympathetic female reporter, looking earnest and hurt. Simone and I had problems in our marriage like any couple, he said. We grew apart. The divorce was mutual, even if the paperwork wasn't handled perfectly. But we were still a family. And then she won this money, and suddenly she wants nothing to do with me. Some would say you forged her signature on legal documents, the reporter prompted. There was a misunderstanding with the paperwork, Derek said smoothly. But the point is, we were still married when she bought that ticket. Legally, I have a right to part of that money. I'm not being greedy. I just want what's fair. The segment continued for 10 minutes, with Derek positioning himself as the wronged party, the abandoned husband who just wanted his fair share. He's good, Brenda said grudgingly. He's making himself look sympathetic. But it's all lies, Simone said. We know that. Now we need to make sure everyone else knows it too. Simone's interview was scheduled for Friday. She spent Thursday evening preparing with Patricia, practicing answers to likely questions, learning how to stay calm and factual even when discussing emotional topics. Friday afternoon, she sat in the news studio under bright lights, facing a different reporter. This one was male, older, more serious. Ms. Harper, your ex-husband claims he deserves part of your lottery winnings. What's your response? Derek divorced me 6 months ago without my knowledge, Simone said calmly. He forged my signature on legal documents and bribed a court official. Those are crimes. The divorce was later invalidated because of the fraud, but by then, Derek had already moved out. He was living with his girlfriend in a separate apartment. We were legally separated when I purchased the lottery ticket. Derek says the divorce was a mutual decision, the reporter said. Then why did he forge my signature? Simone asked. If it was mutual, why didn't he just ask me to sign the papers? The truth is, Derek wanted to end our marriage so he could be with his girlfriend, but he didn't want to deal with a legal divorce process. So he committed fraud. That's a serious accusation. It's documented fact, Simone said. She handed over a folder. These are copies of the forged documents, the court clerk's confession, bank records showing Derek's payment to the clerk, and evidence of Derek's affair. It's all there. The reporter looked through the documents, his eyebrows rising. This is substantial evidence. Yes, it is, Simone agreed. Derek made choices. He chose to lie, to cheat, to commit crimes. Those choices have consequences. I'm not being vindictive. I'm protecting myself from someone who has proven he can't be trusted. The interview continued, with Simone staying composed and factual throughout. She talked about the pain of discovering the betrayal, the process of protecting her assets, her plans for the lottery money. "I'm going to use this money to help people," she said. "Single mothers who need support. Women recovering from domestic situations. Community programs that make a difference. This money is a blessing and I'm going to treat it as such." The segment aired that evening. Within hours, public opinion had shifted dramatically. Social media was flooded with comments supporting Simone and condemning Derek. "She has every right to keep that money. He forged her signature? That's insane. This guy is a criminal and he wants sympathy? Good for her. I hope she doesn't give him a penny." Derek tried to do damage control, posting on social media about how the media had taken his words out of context. But the evidence was too clear. People could see the forged signatures, read the court clerk's confession, understand the timeline. By Monday morning, Derek's lawyer had called Brenda requesting a meeting. "They want to settle," Brenda told Simone. "Derek is willing to drop his lawsuit if you agree not to press criminal charges." "What do you think?" Simone asked. "I think you've already won," Brenda said. "The court would rule in your favor anyway. But settling now means it's over faster. No trial, no more media attention, no more harassment." "What about the criminal charges?" Simone asked. "Should we pursue them?" "That's up to you," Brenda said. "Derek deserves to be prosecuted. But prosecution means more time in court, more attention, more energy spent on him." "Is that what you want?" Simone thought about it. Part of her wanted Derek to face real consequences, to have a criminal record that would follow him forever. But a bigger part of her just wanted to be done with this chapter of her life. "No criminal charges," she said finally. "But I want it in writing that if Derek ever contacts me again for any reason, the deal is off and we pursue everything. Forgery, fraud, theft, all of it." "I can make that happen," Brenda promised. The settlement was drawn up and signed within a week. Derek agreed to drop all claims to the lottery money. He agreed never to contact Simone again. He acknowledged in writing that the money was her separate property and he had no legal right to any of it. In exchange, Simone agreed not to press criminal charges and not to seek restitution beyond the $45,000 Derek had already repaid. It was done. Completely, finally done. Simone held the signed agreement in her hands, feeling a weight lift off her shoulders. Derek was out of her life. Forever. "How does it feel?" Brenda asked. "Like I can finally move forward," Simone said. "Like the past is actually past." That weekend, Simone celebrated with her close friends. Not a wild party, just a quiet dinner at her favorite restaurant with people who genuinely cared about her. Her mother was there, beaming with pride. Her brother, grateful and supportive. Jennifer from work. Brenda, who had guided her through everything. "To new beginnings," her mother said, raising her glass. "To new beginnings," they all echoed. Simone looked around the table at these people who loved her, who had stood by her through the worst time of her life. This was what mattered. Not the money, not Derek, not any of the drama. This real relationships, real love, real support. The future stretched out ahead of her, full of possibility and promise. And she couldn't wait to see what came next. Monday morning brought fresh energy. Simone woke up early, went for her run, and felt lighter than she had in months. Derek was officially, legally, completely out of her life. Now she could focus on building something new. At work, she requested a meeting with her supervisor. "I'm cutting back to part-time," she told him. 3 shifts a week instead of 5. "We hate to lose you full-time," her supervisor said. "But I understand. You've got options now." "It's not about the money," Simone explained. "Well, not just about the money. I want to start a foundation. Help people. But I also still love nursing. This way I can do both." "That's admirable," he said. "You're a good nurse, Simone. We're lucky to have you, even part-time." After her shift, Simone met with Nancy at the financial advisor's office. They reviewed investment strategies and discussed Simone's plans for the New Beginnings Foundation. "I want to help single mothers," Simone explained. "Women who've been left to raise kids alone. Women who've been betrayed or abandoned. They need resources, support, childcare assistance, job training. I want to provide that." "That's a wonderful mission," Nancy said. "And with your resources you can make a real impact. Let me connect you with some people who can help set up the foundation properly. Lawyers who specialize in nonprofits, accountants who understand charitable organizations, people who can guide you through the process." Over the next 2 weeks, Simone threw herself into planning. She met with nonprofit consultants, drafted mission statements, researched similar organizations to see what worked and what didn't. She visited women's shelters and talked to social workers about what resources were most needed. Childcare, one social worker told her. That's the biggest barrier for single mothers trying to work or go back to school. Childcare is expensive and many women can't afford it. What about job training? Simone asked. Also crucial. Many women have been out of the workforce for years raising kids. They need updated skills, certifications, help with resumes and interviews. Simone took notes, building a comprehensive picture of how her foundation could help. During this time, she also took care of her family. She paid off her brother's student loans, seeing his face light up with relief when she told him. She hired contractors to renovate her mother's house, fixing the roof, updating the kitchen, making everything safe and comfortable. You don't have to do all this, her mother said, tears in her eyes. I want to, Simone replied. You raised me right, Mom. You taught me to work hard and help others. Let me help you now. She also made anonymous donations to the hospital where she worked. New equipment for the emergency room. Updated monitors for the ICU. Better break room facilities for the staff. Nothing with her name on it. She just wanted to help. 3 weeks after the settlement with Derek, Simone got a call from Rita, the private investigator. I thought you should know, Rita said. Derek lost his real estate license. The state board reviewed his case after everything came out, and they revoked his license for fraud and unethical conduct. Simone felt a flicker of satisfaction. Good. He shouldn't be in a position of trust with clients. There's more, Rita continued. His relationship with Tara is falling apart. My sources say they've been fighting constantly. Tara apparently thought she was getting a successful real estate agent. Now Derek has no license, no income, and legal bills from fighting you. She's not happy. That's their problem, Simone said. But she couldn't deny feeling a sense of justice. Derek and Tara had both made their choices. Now they were living with the consequences. A week later, Simone's doorbell rang on a Sunday afternoon. She checked the security camera and saw Tara standing there, alone. She looked different from before. Less polished, more tired. Simone almost didn't answer, but curiosity got the better of her. She opened the door but stayed in the doorway. What do you want, Tara? I'm leaving Derek, Tara said quietly. Moving back to Arizona to stay with my parents. I wanted to apologize before I left. For everything. Okay, Simone said neutrally. I was stupid, Tara continued. I believed Derek's lies. I thought he was this successful, charming guy. I didn't think about you, about what I was doing to your life. I just thought about what I wanted. Yes, you did, Simone agreed. And now I'm paying for it, Tara said. My social media following dropped by half when the truth came out. I lost sponsorship deals. People send me hate messages every day. Derek turned out to be a liar and a user, and I wasted 2 years on him. I wasted 7 years, Simone pointed out. But I'm not looking for sympathy, and I don't have any to give you. I know, Tara said. I just wanted to say I'm sorry. For whatever that's worth. It's worth very little, Simone said honestly. But I hope you learn from this. I hope you think twice before helping someone cheat again. Tara nodded, tears welling in her eyes. I will. I promise. She walked away, getting into a car packed with boxes. Simone watched her drive off, feeling nothing but a vague sense of finality. That chapter of her life was truly closed now. Later that evening, Brenda called with news. You're not going to believe this. Derek is filing for bankruptcy. What? Simone sat up straight. He owes legal fees, has no income, can't pay rent on that apartment. He's completely broke. He's filing for bankruptcy protection. Simone processed this information. Derek, who had been so focused on money, on image, on living the high life with Tara, was now bankrupt. The irony was sharp. I should feel bad, Simone said. But I don't. You shouldn't feel bad, Brenda said firmly. Derek made his choices. He committed crimes, betrayed you, stole from you. These are the consequences of his actions. What happens now? Simone asked. Will he come after me again? He can't, Brenda assured her. The settlement agreement is binding. He has no legal claim to your assets. And if he tries to contact you, we'll pursue criminal charges. He knows that. Good, Simone said. Because I'm done with him. Completely done. A month later, the New Beginnings Foundation officially launched. Simone held a small press conference, announcing the foundation's mission and initial programs. This foundation exists to help single mothers rebuild their lives, she said to the gathered reporters. We provide childcare assistance, job training, educational support, and emergency financial aid. No woman should have to choose between taking care of her children and building a better future. We want to make both possible. The response was overwhelming. Applications poured in from women who needed help. Community organizations reached out offering partnerships. Volunteers signed up to help with programs. Simone hired a small staff to manage the foundation, an executive director, a program coordinator, a grant writer. She stayed involved in the decision-making but let the professionals handle the day-to-day operations. For the first time in years, Simone felt like she was making a real difference. Not just helping one patient at a time in the hospital, but helping entire families, entire communities. She also started taking better care of herself. She hired a personal trainer and started working out regularly. She bought herself nice clothes, not designer labels but quality pieces that made her feel good. She got regular massages and took long baths with good books. One evening, while volunteering at a foundation event, Simone met a man named Jerome Blake. He was an architect who had designed the building where the foundation held their job training programs. "You're doing amazing work here," Jerome said, gesturing around the space. "I'm honored to be part of it." "Thank you for the beautiful space," Simone replied. "It's exactly what we needed." They talked for a while about the foundation, about architecture, about their work. Jerome was intelligent and kind, with an easy laugh and genuine interest in what Simone was doing. He was tall and well-built, with warm eyes and a gentle manner. "Would you like to get coffee sometime?" Jerome asked as the event was winding down. "I'd love to hear more about your plans for the foundation." Simone hesitated. She wasn't sure she was ready to date again. The wounds from Derek's betrayal were still healing. But Jerome was looking at her with such open, honest interest. No hidden agendas. No manipulation. Just a simple invitation to get coffee and talk. "Sure," Simone said, surprising herself. "I'd like that." They exchanged numbers and Jerome left with a smile. Brenda, who had witnessed the exchange, nudged Simone. "He seems nice," Brenda said. "He does," Simone agreed. "But I'm not looking for anything serious." "Who said anything about serious?" Brenda teased. "Just have coffee with a nice man. See where it goes." Over the next few weeks, Simone and Jerome did have coffee. Then dinner. Then a walk through the park on a sunny Saturday afternoon. Each time, Simone found herself relaxing more, enjoying his company. Jerome was different from Derek in every way. He was straightforward and honest. He asked about her life with genuine interest. He talked about his own work, his family, his goals, without pretension or exaggeration. "I have to tell you something," Simone said on their fourth date. They were sitting at a quiet restaurant, finishing dessert. "I won the lottery a few months ago." "I know," Jerome said with a smile. "It was all over the news. Congratulations." "You knew?" Simone was surprised. "And you still asked me out?" "Why wouldn't I?" Jerome looked confused. "I asked you out because you're intelligent and kind and passionate about helping people. The money doesn't change who you are." "A lot of people see me differently now," Simone said. "Then they're not seeing you at all," Jerome replied. "They're seeing dollar signs." It was the right answer. The perfect answer. And for the first time since her divorce, Simone felt her walls coming down. "Thank you," she said softly. "For what?" Jerome asked. "For seeing me," Simone said. "Just me." He reached across the table and took her hand. "That's the only you I'm interested in." As Simone drove home that night, she felt something she hadn't felt in a long time. Hope. Not just hope for her foundation or her career, but hope for herself. Hope that maybe, someday she could open her heart again. But she wasn't rushing. She was taking her time, being careful, protecting herself. She'd learned hard lessons about trust and love. Next time she would be wiser. Derek was the past. The foundation was the present. And maybe, just maybe, someone like Jerome could be part of the future. But for now, Simone was content with where she was. Building her dreams, helping others, healing herself. It was enough. More than enough. It was everything. 3 months after the lottery win, Simone's life had transformed completely. She worked 3 shifts a week at the hospital, loving the patient care but no longer exhausted by the relentless schedule. The rest of her time went to the foundation, which was growing faster than she'd expected. The New Beginnings Foundation had helped 40 women in its first 3 months. They provided childcare vouchers, paid for job training programs, and offered emergency rent assistance. Simone visited the offices regularly, meeting the women they helped, hearing their stories. One Tuesday afternoon, she sat with a woman named Patricia, a single mother of 3 who had left an abusive relationship 6 months earlier. I couldn't have done this without your foundation, Patricia said, tears streaming down her face. The childcare assistance meant I could take the nursing program. I just got hired at County Hospital. Full-time with benefits. I can support my kids now. Really support them. Simone hugged her, feeling that familiar warmth in her chest. This was why the money mattered. Not for what it could buy her, but for what it could do for others. You did this, Simone told Patricia. You had the courage to leave, the determination to build a better life. We just provided some support. The hard work was all you. After Patricia left, the foundation's executive director, Margaret Chin, came into Simone's office. We need to talk about expansion, Margaret said. We're getting applications from women all over the state. Right now we can only serve the local area. But with your resources we could open satellite offices. Help more people. Let's do it, Simone said without hesitation. Where should we start? They spent the next hour planning. Satellite offices in 3 other cities. Partnerships with local organizations. Hiring more staff. Increasing their budget for services. You're sure about this? Margaret asked. It's a big financial commitment. I'm sure, Simone said. What good is having money if I don't use it to make a difference? That evening, Simone had dinner with Jerome. They'd been seeing each other regularly for 6 weeks now, and Simone was surprised by how comfortable she felt with him. There was no drama, no games, no hidden agendas. Just 2 people getting to know each other, enjoying each other's company. They ate at a small Italian restaurant talking about their days. Jerome had just finished designing a community center for a neighborhood that badly needed one. It's pro bono work, he explained. The city couldn't afford to hire an architect, but they needed the building. So I did it for free. That's really generous, Simone said. Says the woman who started a foundation to help single mothers, Jerome teased. I think you've got me beat in the generosity department. It's not a competition, Simone laughed. No, it's not, Jerome agreed. He looked at her seriously. But it's one of the things I admire about you. You had this incredible thing happen, winning all this money, and your first thought was how you could help others. Not my first thought, Simone admitted. My first thought was that Derek couldn't have any of it. Jerome knew the basic story. Not all the details, but enough. I think that was a reasonable first thought, he said. Given everything. After dinner, they walked along the waterfront. The night was clear and cool, stars visible despite the city lights. Can I ask you something? Jerome said. Of course, Simone replied. Are you okay? Really okay? I know you went through something difficult. And you're handling it with such grace, but I want to make sure you're dealing with it. Simone thought about the question. Was she okay? I'm getting there, she said honestly. Some days are harder than others. Sometimes I feel angry about the time I wasted, the lies I believed. But mostly I just feel grateful that I found out the truth. That I got out before wasting more years. That's healthy, Jerome said. And for what it's worth, his loss is my gain. Simone smiled. That's sweet. I'm serious, Jerome said, stopping to face her. You're an incredible person, Simone. Smart, kind, strong. Anyone who couldn't see that is a fool. Simone felt her eyes get misty. After Derek's constant criticism and distance, Jerome's straightforward appreciation felt like water in a desert. Thank you, she said. That means a lot. They continued walking, and Simone realized she was genuinely happy. Not just content, not just okay, but happy. She had meaningful work, true friends, a potential relationship with someone who respected her. She had resources to help people and the freedom to live life on her own terms. The next week brought unexpected news. Rita, the private investigator, called with information. I thought you should know, Rita said. Derek left the state. He moved to Nevada about a week ago. Why are you still watching him? Simone asked. I'm not specifically, Rita said. But I have contacts who keep me informed. I wanted to make sure he wasn't going to cause you any more problems. Thank you, Simone said. I appreciate that. After she hung up, Simone realized she felt nothing about Derek leaving. No sadness, no relief, just nothing. He was gone from her life in every way that mattered. Where he lived didn't change that. A month later, Simone received a letter forwarded from her lawyer's office. It was from Derek. She almost threw it away without reading it, but curiosity won. She opened the envelope. Dear Simone, the letter began. I know I have no right to contact you, but I wanted you to know that I'm sorry. Really truly sorry for everything I did. I was selfish and cruel. I took you for granted. I lied and cheated and hurt you in ways I can't fully comprehend. I don't expect forgiveness. I just want you to know that I recognize what I did was wrong. I hope you're happy. I hope you're building the life you deserve. I'm trying to do better to be better. I'm in therapy, working on myself, trying to understand why I made such terrible choices. That's no excuse and it doesn't change the past. But I wanted you to know I'm trying. Take care of yourself. Derek. Simone read the letter twice, then put it in a drawer. She didn't respond. She didn't feel like she needed to. Derek's apology was for him, not for her. If it helped him move forward, that was fine. But she didn't owe him forgiveness or acknowledgement. She'd already moved forward without him. That weekend, Simone hosted a party at her house. A real housewarming party, celebrating her home as truly hers now. She invited her close friends, her mother and brother, colleagues from the hospital, staff from the foundation. Jerome came too, bringing a bottle of wine and a beautiful plant for her garden. Every home needs something living and growing, he said. The house was full of laughter and conversation. People admired the renovations Simone had made, simple but elegant changes that made the space feel fresh and new. She painted walls, replaced old furniture, added art that she actually liked instead of pieces Derek had chosen. Her mother pulled her aside during the party. You look so different, she said. Lighter. Happier. I feel different, Simone admitted. Like I'm finally living my own life instead of the life someone else wanted for me. That's what I hoped for you, her mother said, hugging her. My strong, beautiful daughter. I'm so proud of you. Later, after most guests had left, Jerome helped Simone clean up. They worked side by side, washing dishes and putting away leftover food. This was a great party, Jerome said. Your friends really love you. I'm lucky, Simone said. They stood by me through everything. I don't know what I would have done without them. You would have found a way, Jerome said. You're strong like that. But it's good that you didn't have to do it alone. When the kitchen was clean, they sat on the back porch with cups of tea looking at the stars. I have something to tell you, Simone said. I'm thinking about going back to school. Getting my master's degree in nursing. Maybe eventually becoming a nurse practitioner. That's amazing, Jerome said. When would you start? Next fall if I can get into a program. I've been looking at options. There's a good program at State University that's designed for working nurses. You should do it, Jerome encouraged. You'd be great at it. It would mean less time for everything else, Simone said. The foundation volunteering this. She gestured between them. The foundation has staff to handle day-to-day operations, Jerome pointed out. And as for this, I'm not going anywhere. I'll support whatever you want to do. Simone looked at him, this good man who had entered her life at exactly the right time. She wasn't ready to call it love yet. It was too soon, she was still too cautious. But it was something. Something real and honest and healthy. Thank you, she said. For what? Jerome asked. For being patient. For understanding that I need to take things slow. Simone, you went through a trauma, Jerome said seriously. Your trust was violated in a fundamental way. Of course you need time to heal. I'm not in a rush. I like where we are. Let's just keep moving forward at whatever pace feels right to you. It was exactly what Simone needed to hear. 2 weeks later, Simone got a call from the university. She'd been accepted into the master's program with a partial scholarship. They'd reviewed her application and her work with the foundation and were impressed. We need more nurses who understand how to serve vulnerable populations, the program director told her. Your foundation work shows that you're committed to that. We'd love to have you in the program. Simone accepted immediately. Another piece of her new life falling into place. That evening she celebrated with her core group, Brenda, Jennifer, her mother, Jerome. They went to a nice restaurant, toasted to her future, talked about their dreams and plans. A year ago, could you have imagined all this? Brenda asked. Simone thought about it. A year ago, she'd been living a lie, thinking her marriage was intact, working herself to exhaustion, never dreaming of anything beyond her small life. No, she said. I couldn't have imagined any of this. The good or the bad. But you survived the bad and built something beautiful with the good, Jennifer said. I'm still building, Simone corrected. This is just the beginning. As she drove home that night, Simone felt profoundly grateful. Not just for the money, though that had certainly changed her circumstances, but for the clarity the whole experience had given her. She knew now what mattered: honest relationships, meaningful work, personal growth, helping others. She knew now what she wouldn't tolerate: lies, manipulation, taking her for granted. She knew now what she wanted: A life lived on her own terms, surrounded by people who truly valued her. Derek had taken 7 years from her. But in a strange way he'd also given her a gift. The gift of seeing clearly. The gift of knowing her own strength. The gift of understanding that she deserved better, and having the courage to demand it. She wouldn't thank him for it. She didn't owe him that. But she could acknowledge that she'd grown from the experience. That she was stronger, wiser, more sure of herself. And that was worth something. Everything really. 6 months after the divorce, Simone had settled into her new life with remarkable ease. She worked her 3 shifts at the hospital, attended evening classes for her master's program 2 nights a week, and spent the rest of her time managing the foundation and building her relationship with Jerome. The foundation had expanded to 4 cities and helped over 200 women. Simone visited the satellite offices regularly, meeting recipients and hearing success stories. Each story reinforced her belief that she was using her money exactly as she should. Her relationship with Jerome had deepened naturally. They spent most weekends together, cooking dinner, watching movies, taking walks. He'd met her mother and brother, who approved wholeheartedly. She'd met his family too, his parents and 2 sisters, all warm and welcoming. "Are you guys official?" Jennifer asked one day at work. "Like, is he your boyfriend?" Simone considered the question. "I think so. We haven't really labeled it, but yeah. He's my boyfriend." Felt good to say. Safe and right. One Thursday evening in late spring, Simone was studying at home when her doorbell rang. She checked the security camera and saw a man she didn't recognize. Middle-aged, wearing a suit, carrying a briefcase. She opened the door cautiously, leaving the chain lock engaged. "Can I help you? Miss Harper? My name is Robert Fitzgerald. I'm an attorney representing Derek Harper." Simone felt her stomach drop. "Derek has a lawyer? We have a settlement. Everything is done. May I come in? This will only take a few minutes." "No," Simone said firmly. "Whatever you need to say you can say from there. Or you can call my lawyer." She started to close the door. "Please, Miss Harper. Derek is in trouble. Real trouble. He needs help." Against her better judgment, Simone paused. "What kind of trouble?" "He's facing criminal charges in Nevada. Fraud, embezzlement from his new employer. If convicted, he's looking at 5 to 10 years in prison." "That's not my problem," Simone said. "He needs money for a proper legal defense," Fitzgerald continued. "He can't afford a good lawyer. With a public defender, he'll definitely go to prison. But with proper representation, there's a chance." Simone understood now. "You want me to pay for his defense?" "He has nowhere else to turn," Fitzgerald said. "His family has disowned him. He has no assets. You're his only hope." "Did he send you here?" Simone asked. "No," Fitzgerald admitted. "He doesn't know I'm here. But I'm trying to help him, and I thought perhaps you might feel some compassion for a man you once loved." Simone laughed bitterly. "Compassion? Derek forged my signature, stole from me, cheated on me, and tried to take my lottery money. Why would I help him now?" "Because you're a good person," Fitzgerald said. "I've read about your foundation, the work you do. You help people in need. Derek is in need." "Derek is in need because of his own choices," Simone said. "He chose to commit crimes. Multiple times, apparently. Those choices have consequences. Everyone deserves a proper legal defense," Fitzgerald argued. "Then the state will provide one. That's what public defenders are for. I'm not giving Derek a penny. Now please leave my property before I call the police." Fitzgerald looked disappointed but not surprised. He handed her a business card. "If you change your mind." "I won't," Simone said and closed the door. She called Brenda immediately. "Derek's in trouble in Nevada. Fraud charges. His lawyer just showed up asking me to pay for his defense." "Unbelievable," Brenda said. "The audacity. You said no, right?" "Of course I said no. But Brenda, what if he tries to contact me directly? What if he shows up here?" "He won't," Brenda said confidently. "He knows that if he contacts you, we'll pursue criminal charges for the forgery and fraud here. He's not that stupid." But 2 days later, Derek proved her wrong. Simone was leaving the hospital after her shift when she saw him standing by her car. He looked terrible. Thinner, older, worn down by life. "Simone, please," he said as she approached. "Just hear me out." "You're violating the settlement agreement," Simone said, pulling out her phone. "I'm calling my lawyer and the police." "Wait," Derek said desperately. "Please, just 5 minutes. Then I'll leave and never bother you again. I promise." Simone hesitated, her finger hovering over the call button. Part of her wanted to just call the cops and be done with it. But another part was curious about what Derek could possibly say that would make any difference. 5 minutes, she said. But I'm recording this. She opened her voice recorder app and hit record. Thank you, Derek said. He looked relieved. I'm not here to ask for money. I know I have no right to that. I just wanted to tell you that I'm sorry. Really truly sorry. And I wanted to warn you. Warn me about what? Simone asked. Tara, Derek said. She's planning something. I don't know what exactly, but she's angry. She blames you for everything that happened. She thinks if you hadn't exposed our relationship, everything would have been fine. That's delusional, Simone said. I know, Derek agreed. But she's not thinking clearly. She's been posting things on social media talking about how you ruined her life. I'm worried she might try to do something. Like what? Simone felt a chill. I don't know. But she's unstable. Please just be careful. Watch your back. If she's making threats, I can get a restraining order, Simone said. She's not making direct threats. She's too smart for that. But the tone of what she's posting, it worries me. Simone studied Derek's face. He looked genuinely concerned. Why are you telling me this? After everything, why would you warn me? Because I still care what happens to you, Derek said quietly. I know I don't have the right to. I know I destroyed any chance of us having any kind of relationship, even a friendly one. But I don't want you to get hurt. You already hurt me, Simone pointed out. Worse than Tara ever could. I know, Derek said. And I'll regret that for the rest of my life. I made terrible choices. I was selfish and stupid and cruel. I threw away the best thing in my life because I thought I wanted something else. And now I have nothing. No career, no money, facing prison, no one who cares about me. I destroyed everything. Yes, you did, Simone agreed. So why should I believe anything you say now? You shouldn't, Derek admitted. You have every reason not to trust me. But I'm telling you the truth about Tara. She's fixated on you. She thinks you're the reason everything fell apart. Just be careful. Please. I will, Simone said. Now leave. And don't come back. If you contact me again, I will press charges. Do you understand? I understand, Derek said. He started to walk away, then turned back. For what it's worth, I'm glad you're happy. I saw the pictures of you with that architect. He looks like a good guy. Much better than me. You deserve someone who treats you right. Then he walked to an old, beat-up car and drove away. Simone got in her own car, her hands shaking. She called Brenda on the way home and told her everything. We need to take this seriously, Brenda said. If Tara is fixated on you, that could be dangerous. I'm going to look into getting you a restraining order against her. In the meantime, be vigilant. Don't go places alone if you can help it. Make sure your home security system is working. You think she'd really try something? Simone asked. I think angry, desperate people do unpredictable things, Brenda said. Better safe than sorry. That evening, Jerome came over. Simone told him everything. He listened carefully, his face growing more concerned. I don't like this, he said. This woman helped destroy your marriage, lost her social media career because of it, and now she's blaming you? That's not rational. None of this has been rational, Simone pointed out. True. But we need to take precautions. I'm going to stay here tonight if that's okay with you. You don't have to do that, Simone said. I want to, Jerome insisted. I'll feel better knowing you're not alone. Over the next week, Brenda worked on getting a restraining order against Tara. In the meantime, Simone increased her security measures. She installed additional cameras, changed her routine at work, varied her route home. Then, 10 days after Derek's warning, Tara showed up at the foundation's main office. Simone wasn't there at the time, but Margaret called her immediately. Tara Bennett was just here. She demanded to see you, got aggressive when we said you weren't available. Security escorted her out, but she was shouting threats as she left. What kind of threats? Simone asked, her heart pounding. She said you ruined her life and you'd pay for it. She said you stole her future and she was going to make sure you regretted it. It was unsettling. Call the police, Simone said. File a report. We need everything documented. The police took Tara's threats seriously, especially given her history of instability. They picked her up that evening for questioning and issued her a warning. Brenda expedited the restraining order, which was approved within 2 days. Tara was ordered to stay at least 500 feet away from Simone, her home, her workplace, and the foundation offices. Any violation would result in immediate arrest. Do you think that will stop her? Simone asked Brenda. Most people respect restraining orders, Brenda said. But we'll stay alert just in case. A week passed without incident. Then 2 weeks. Simone started to relax, thinking maybe the restraining order had worked. Maybe Tara had realized she was only making things worse for herself. Then, on a Friday evening, Simone came home from a late class to find her front door slightly open. She froze on the porch, her heart racing. She was certain she'd locked the door when she left. She called 911 immediately. "I think someone broke into my house." The police arrived within minutes. They searched the house thoroughly while Simone waited outside with a neighbor. After 20 minutes, an officer came out. "The house is clear. No one inside now. But someone was definitely here. Come with me." Simone followed the officer inside. The damage was immediately visible. Picture frames smashed. Cushions slashed. Spray paint on the walls saying "Thief, and you ruined my life." Her bedroom was the worst. All her clothes had been cut up. Her mattress was destroyed. More spray paint, this time with graphic threats. "This is serious vandalism," the officer said. "Do you have any idea who did this?" "I have a very good idea," Simone said, pulling up the restraining order on her phone. "Tara Bennett. She has a restraining order to stay away from me, but clearly that didn't stop her." The police collected evidence, took photos, dusted for fingerprints. They found several clear prints that matched Tara's in their system. Within hours, Tara was arrested. This time she was charged with breaking and entering, vandalism, violating a restraining order, and making terroristic threats. "She's going to jail," Brenda told Simone on the phone. "With this evidence, there's no way she walks." Simone looked around her destroyed home, feeling violated and angry. Good. Let her explain to a judge why she thought this was a reasonable response to her own bad choices. Jerome came over to help clean up. He brought supplies and several friends who volunteered their time. Together they repaired what could be repaired and discarded what couldn't. Jerome arranged for professional cleaners to handle the spray paint. "I'm so sorry this happened," he said, holding Simone as she finally let herself cry. "You didn't deserve any of this." "I keep thinking it's over," Simone said. "I keep thinking I can move on. And then something else happens." "This is the end," Jerome said firmly. "Tara's going to prison. Derek's dealing with his own legal troubles in Nevada. After this, you'll be able to truly move forward." He was right. Tara was convicted 3 months later and sentenced to 2 years in prison. Derek was convicted in Nevada and sentenced to 6 years. Both of them were finally, completely out of Simone's life. The insurance covered the repairs to her house. Within a month, all evidence of the break-in was gone. New furniture, fresh paint, new locks, upgraded security system. Simone stood in her bedroom, looking around at the fresh, clean space. This was her home, her sanctuary, her fresh start. And this time, no one was going to take that away from her. 1 year after winning the lottery, Simone hosted the first annual New Beginnings Foundation Grant Award ceremony. The event was held at a beautiful venue downtown, decorated in bright colors: red, blue, green, and gold. Over 300 people attended, including foundation staff, board members, grant recipients, donors, and supporters. Simone stood at the podium in a stunning emerald green dress, looking out at the crowd. She felt nervous but excited. This event represented everything she'd built in the past year. Everything she'd overcome. "Thank you all for being here tonight," she began. "A year ago, my life changed in ways I never could have imagined. I won a lottery, yes. But more importantly, I won my freedom. I won the chance to build a life based on my values, my choices, my dreams." She paused, looking out at the faces in the crowd. Her mother, beaming with pride. Her brother, supportive as always. Brenda, her constant ally. Jennifer and other friends from the hospital. Jerome, sitting in the front row with an encouraging smile. And dozens of women whose lives had been touched by the foundation. "The New Beginnings Foundation has helped over 400 women in the past year," Simone continued. "We've provided childcare assistance, job training, educational support, and emergency aid. But more than that, we've provided hope. We've shown women that their past doesn't define their future. That they have the power to rebuild, to grow, to create better lives for themselves and their children." She went on to introduce the grant recipients, women who had used foundation support to achieve remarkable things. A woman who had gone from homeless to homeowner. A woman who had left an abusive relationship and was now running her own business. A woman who had earned her college degree while raising 3 kids. Each woman came up to accept her award, and each told her story. There wasn't a dry eye in the room by the time the last recipient finished speaking. "These women are the reason I do this work," Simone said. They inspire me every single day. They remind me that resilience is real, that change is possible, that hope is not just a feeling but a choice we make every day. After the ceremony, there was a reception with food, music, and mingling. Simone worked the room, thanking donors, congratulating recipients, introducing people who could help each other. "You're a natural at this," Jerome said when she finally took a break. He handed her a glass of water. "I've never seen you more in your element." "I love this," Simone admitted. "The hospital work is important and I still love nursing. But this is my calling. Helping women rebuild their lives after trauma or betrayal or hardship. I understand what that journey is like." "You've rebuilt your own life beautifully," Jerome said. "We've rebuilt it together," Simone corrected. "You've been such an important part of this year." Jerome smiled. "I'm glad. And I'm hoping to be part of many more years." Simone looked at him, at this man who had shown her what a healthy relationship looked like. Who supported her dreams without trying to control them. Who celebrated her success without feeling threatened. Who loved her for who she was, not what she had. "I'd like that," she said softly. Later in the evening, Simone stepped outside for some air. The event was winding down, but she needed a moment to herself. She stood on the venue's terrace, looking out at the city lights. A year ago, she'd been devastated. Her marriage had been a lie. Her trust had been shattered. She'd felt stupid and used and broken. Now she felt strong. Full. Purposeful. The lottery money had given her options, yes. But she'd been the one to choose how to use those options. She could have wasted it on revenge or material things. Instead, she'd built something meaningful. Something that would last long after the money was spent. "There you are," Brenda said, joining her on the terrace. "Great event. You should be proud." "I am," Simone said. "Proud and grateful and still a little bit amazed that this is my life now." "You've come so far," Brenda said. "From that day in my office when you first showed me the divorce papers. You were hurting so badly then. Now look at you." "I couldn't have done it without you," Simone said. "You guided me through the legal nightmare. You protected me. You believed in me when I wasn't sure I believed in myself." "That's what friends do," Brenda said simply. They stood together in comfortable silence for a moment, then went back inside to rejoin the party. The next week, Simone received a letter at the foundation office. No return address, postmarked from Nevada. She opened it cautiously. It was from Derek. "Dear Simone," the letter read. "I don't expect you to read this or respond. I just wanted you to know that I saw the news coverage of your foundation's grant ceremony. I'm writing from prison where I have a lot of time to think about the choices I made and the person I was. Seeing what you've done with your life, the good you're doing in the world, makes me realize even more how badly I failed. Not just as a husband but as a human being. You deserved so much better than what I gave you. I hope someday I can be even a fraction of the person you are. I hope I can make amends somehow, though I know that may never be possible. Thank you for teaching me, through your example, what integrity looks like. Derek." Simone read the letter twice, then filed it away. She didn't need to respond. Derek's journey was his own now. She wished him well in a distant, abstract way. But he was no longer part of her story. That evening, Simone had dinner with Jerome at his apartment. He'd cooked her favorite meal, chicken pasta with vegetables, and they ate on his balcony under the stars. "I've been thinking," Jerome said as they finished dessert, "about the future. Our future." Simone's heart beat a little faster. "Yeah. I love you," Jerome said simply. "I know we've taken things slow and I respect that, but I wanted you to know how I feel. You're the most incredible woman I've ever met. You're strong and kind and passionate about making the world better. I love who you are. All of who you are." Simone felt tears prick her eyes. "I love you too," she said. The words felt right. Say, true. "I wasn't sure I'd ever be able to say that again after Derek. But with you it's different. It's real." Jerome reached across the table and took her hand. "I'm not rushing you into anything. I just wanted you to know where I stand. When you're ready, if you're ready, I'd like to talk about a future together. But there's no pressure. We move at your pace." "Thank you," Simone said. "For understanding. For being patient. For being you." They sat together as the night deepened, talking about their dreams and plans. Jerome wanted to design more public buildings, spaces that served communities. Simone wanted to expand the foundation nationally, eventually internationally. They talked about traveling together, about the places they wanted to see. They talked about the possibility of buying a house together someday, a place with room for his architecture studio and her foundation work. It was all possibility and potential. No promises yet, no commitments. Just two people building something real together, one day at a time. 3 months later, on a crisp fall day, Simone stood at her mother's house for a family dinner. Her brother was there with his new girlfriend. Her mother had cooked all of Simone's favorite foods. Jerome was there too, fitting seamlessly into the family dynamic. "I have an announcement," Simone's brother said over dessert. "I'm getting married." Everyone cheered. Simone hugged her brother, genuinely happy for him. His girlfriend was sweet and kind, exactly the type of person he deserved. "And I have news too," her mother said. "I'm retiring. Finally. After 35 years as a teacher, I'm done." "That's wonderful, Mom," Simone said. "You've earned it." "I want to travel," her mother continued. "See the world. Do all the things I put off while raising you kids and working. And I can do that now thanks to you." She looked at Simone with such love and gratitude. "I'm glad I could help," Simone said. "You gave me everything when I was growing up. Let me give something back now." Later, as Simone and Jerome drove home, he asked, "Do you ever regret it?" The way everything happened. Simone thought about the question. "I regret the pain," she said. "I regret the wasted years with Derek. But I don't regret where I ended up. Sometimes terrible things have to happen to push us toward our real purpose. Derek's betrayal, as awful as it was, freed me. It forced me to rebuild my life from scratch. And I built something better than what I had before." "That's a healthy way to look at it," Jerome said. "It took me a while to get here," Simone admitted. "But yeah, I'm at peace with it all now. The past is the past. What matters is what I do with my present and my future." 6 months later, the foundation opened its 10th satellite office. Simone had cut back her hospital shifts to just one a week, focusing most of her energy on the foundation and finishing her master's degree. She'd maintained her nursing license because the work still mattered to her, but her true calling was clearly the foundation. "We've helped over 1,000 women now," Margaret told her at the office opening celebration. 1,000 lives changed. Families supported. Children given better opportunities. That's your legacy, Simone. Simone looked around at the new office, at the staff members who were dedicated to helping others, at the women who had come to celebrate and share their success stories. This was what mattered. Not the money itself, but what the money could do. That evening, Jerome took Simone to dinner at the restaurant where they'd had their first date. After they ordered, he reached across the table and took both her hands. "I have something to ask you," he said. Simone's heart started racing. She had a feeling she knew what was coming. "Simone Harper, you are the love of my life. You're brilliant and compassionate and strong. You inspire me every single day. I want to build a future with you. Not just any future, but a partnership based on honesty, respect, and genuine love." He pulled out a small box and opened it, revealing a simple but beautiful ring. "Will you marry me?" Simone felt tears streaming down her face. Happy tears this time. Joyful tears. "Yes," she said. "Yes, I'll marry you." Jerome slipped the ring on her finger, and they kissed while the other diners applauded. This was nothing like her first engagement to Derek. That had been rushed and uncertain, built on a foundation of half-truths and misconceptions. This was solid. Real. Right. "I love you," Simone said. "I love you too," Jerome replied. "And I promise I will spend every day earning your trust and showing you what real love looks like." "You already do," Simone said. "Every single day." They celebrated with champagne, making plans for a future together. A small wedding, just close friends and family. A honeymoon somewhere peaceful and beautiful. A house they would buy together, truly equal partners. Maybe someday children. As Simone drove home that night, her engagement ring catching the light, she thought about how far she'd come. From the devastation of discovering Derek's betrayal to the joy of finding real love with Jerome. From the shock of winning the lottery to the satisfaction of using that money to help others. From feeling broken and used to feeling whole and purposeful. Life had a funny way of working out. Not the way you planned, but sometimes better than you could have imagined. Derek was in prison, facing the consequences of his choices. Tara was in prison too, her social media empire destroyed, her future uncertain. Simone didn't take pleasure in their suffering, but she didn't feel guilty about it either. They had made their choices. They were living with the results. Meanwhile, Simone was living her best life. Helping others, loving and being loved, building something meaningful and lasting. She had everything that truly mattered. Purpose, genuine relationships, health, freedom, and hope for the future. 2 years after winning the lottery, Simone stood in front of an audience of 500 people at the Foundation's annual gala. She wore a red dress that made her feel powerful and beautiful. Her engagement ring sparkled under the lights. "When I started this foundation," she said, "I wanted to help women rebuild their lives after trauma. I understood what that journey was like because I'd lived it myself. I knew how hard it was to start over, to trust again, to believe in yourself when someone else had torn you down." She paused, looking out at the crowd. Jerome sat in the front row, supporting her as always. Her mother and brother were there. Brenda, Margaret, Jennifer, and so many others who had been part of her journey. This foundation has now helped over 3,000 women across 15 cities. We've provided over $10 million in direct assistance. But numbers don't tell the whole story. The real story is in the lives changed. The children who now have stable homes. The women who discovered their own strength. The families who were rebuilt on foundations of honesty and respect. She smiled, feeling that familiar warmth in her chest. Every woman we help reminds me why this work matters. They remind me that our past does not define us. That we have the power to choose our future. That resilience is not just surviving but thriving. Building. Creating. Becoming more than we ever thought possible. The audience erupted in applause. Simone stood there, taking it all in, feeling profoundly grateful. This was her life now. This was her purpose. This was what winning the lottery had really given her. Not just financial security but the opportunity to make a real difference in the world. And she was going to spend the rest of her life making the most of that opportunity. As the gala continued, Simone mingled with donors and recipients, accepting congratulations on her engagement, discussing plans for the foundation's future. She felt happy in a deep, settled way. Not the euphoria of a dramatic moment, but the quiet satisfaction of a life well lived. Later that night, as she and Jerome drove home, he asked, "Any regrets?" "None," Simone said without hesitation. "Not anymore. Everything I went through led me here. To this life, to you, to this work. I wouldn't change any of it." "Even the hard parts?" Jerome asked. "Especially the hard parts," Simone said. "They taught me who I really am. They showed me what I'm capable of. They brought me to exactly where I'm supposed to be." They drove in comfortable silence for a while, then Jerome asked, "What's next? What's the next big goal?" Simone smiled. "Keep growing the foundation. Marry you. Maybe start a family someday. Keep helping people. Keep building a life that matters. That's enough for me. More than enough. It's everything." And it was. After all the pain, all the betrayal, all the struggle, Simone had found her way to a life of purpose and joy. A life built on her own terms, filled with people who truly valued her, dedicated to work that made a real difference. Derek had tried to destroy her. Instead, he'd freed her to become who she was always meant to be. And for that, in a strange way, she was almost grateful. But mostly she was just happy. Finally, completely, genuinely happy. And that was the best revenge of all.